They said money can solve all problems. But what if the money you accept carries a curse? This is the story of Gina, a young woman who chose one night of comfort, but almost lost her life. Gina was a brilliant university student. On the outside, she looked like every other young woman. Neat uniform, a bright smile, a sharp mind. But behind that smile was a burden that weighed her down every single day. At home, her mother had been sick for 5 long years. A sickness that drained their pockets, their energy, and their hope. Her mother coughed blood almost every night, and hospital bills kept piling up. Gina did everything she could to hold the family together. She begged, borrowed, sometimes even skipped meals just to send money home. That morning she sat in her lecture hall. The lecturer's voice echoed across the room, but Gina heard nothing. Her phone buzzed again. Another call from the hospital. She hesitated, then picked up. The nurse's voice was cold and tired. Her mother's condition had worsened. They needed more money immediately, or treatment would stop. Gina's hand shook as she dropped the call. She pressed her palm against her chest, as though to stop her heart from tearing. She picked up her notebook and began to fan herself with it. The classroom felt hot, suffocating. She tried to listen to the lecture, but her mind wandered far away. Where will I find money again? She thought. She had already borrowed from friends. She had already pleaded with relatives. Everyone was tired of her story. The walls were closing in, and then like an arrow, a thought pierced her mind. She remembered him. Mr. Uja was a billionaire. Everyone in town knew his name. He was flashy, loud, and generous with money. But he was also a man with an eye for young girls. For months he had been disturbing Gina. His offer was always the same. One night with him in a hotel, and he would give her more money than she had ever seen in her life. Each time Gina had refused. She told him she wasn't that type of girl. She told him no amount of money could buy her body. And each time he only laughed and said, "One day, you will come back to me. And when that day comes, I'll be waiting." Now, as she sat in the lecture hall with sweat dripping down her back, the sound of her mother's cough echoing in her memory, she realized the day had come. Tears filled her eyes as she scrolled through her contacts. Her thumb hovered over his number. For a moment, she pulled her phone away, whispering, "No, I can't." But then the image of her mother's weak body lying on the hospital bed flashed before her. She pressed call. The phone rang once, twice. He answered. His deep voice rolled through the line. "Gina," he said, as though he had been expecting her. That night, Gina met him at the hotel. The building towered over the city, shining with golden lights. She stood in front of the mirror, her heart pounding. She hated herself for being there, but she told herself it was for her mother. When she entered his suite, Mr. Uja smiled. "Finally," he said, rising to welcome her. He poured her a drink, spoke softly, flattered her. She sat stiffly, her palms sweating, and then, against her will, she gave herself to him. That night, Gina thought she had bought her mother's life with her body. But what she didn't know was that she had also bought something else, something darker. 2 days later, Gina woke up feeling strange, her stomach twisted in knots. She clutched her waist, wincing. She thought maybe it was her monthly period. She rushed to the bathroom, put on a pad, and tried to push through her day. But something wasn't right. This was not like other months. The pain was sharper, heavier. It felt like something was crawling inside her. She forced a smile when her friends spoke to her, but sweat gathered on her forehead. She excused herself, holding her belly. As she walked, she felt a burning sensation down in her private part. She told herself, "It was just cramps. It will soon pass," she whispered. But deep down, fear was rising. The next morning, the pain grew worse. She sat on her bed, trembling. Every step she took, she felt as though something alive was moving inside her. That evening, she went to the bathroom to clean up. She shut the door, removed her clothes, and looked down. And then it happened. With her own eyes, she saw lumps of maggots dropping from between her legs, white, wriggling, alive. They fell onto the tiles, crawling in all directions. She screamed, a scream that tore through the walls. Her roommate Pat rushed in and froze at the sight. Gina collapsed to the ground, crying, shaking, trying to push the maggots away. Pat grabbed her and rushed her to the hospital. Doctors gathered around in shock. They had never seen anything like it. They tried everything, but the more they worked, the more maggots poured out. Nurses screamed. The stench filled the room. Gina sobbed uncontrollably, begging, "Please help me, please." At that point, Pat remembered a pastor she once heard of, a man known for deep prayers and deliverance. With tears streaming down her face, she begged the doctors to release Gina. Together they carried her to the church. The pastor looked at Gina and shook his head. He laid his hands on her and began to pray with fire in his voice. Gina screamed as her body convulsed. Black liquid poured from her mouth. She kicked, she cried, she begged. The maggots slowed, then stopped. Finally, with one last shout of prayer, Gina collapsed into silence. The infestation was gone. The pastor said quietly, "The man you went to, he has sold his soul for wealth. Every woman he touches becomes a sacrifice. But today, mercy has spoken for you." Gina survived, but she was never the same. She sat quietly, tears rolling down her cheeks. She whispered, "If only I had trusted God instead of man. If only I had waited." My friend, desperation can push us into the hands of evil. Not every door that offers money should be opened. Some gifts are poisoned. Some wealth comes with a price too heavy to pay. Remember this, true blessings bring peace, not sorrow. Now let me ask you, if you were in Gina's shoes, what would you have done? Would you take the billionaire's offer to save your loved one, or would you walk away no matter the cost?